great start out today. This is 10th University, and we created this podcast to find those rare people that have a rare mindset. I'm your host, Roosevelt, and today I have a special guest, Cornelius.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Cornelius Smith, Chief Operating Officer of Far Movement. Far Movement is a lifestyle coaching and a mentoring company.
Yeah, so we brought him in today here to talk about anxiety and, more importantly, how to manage it.
Yes.
Starting off, you want to address what is anxiety first?
Yeah. So in all of my experiences and in all my study, I've come up with the following definition for anxiety. Anxiety is the physical manifestation of spiritual unease. Right? You don't know. We as human beings, whether we consciously or subconsciously are aware, we are actual spiritual beings. We are all connected to the environment. We're all connected to the earth, to the people around us, and all of the energy that is given, right? And so a lot of times we suffer, we actually end up suffering from anxiety because we take in negative energy and and negative things that causes our spirit to not be at peace.
That unease.
Right. And and once we're not at peace, it begins to manifest as a physical symptom, right? You start getting a little jittery, you start getting a little nervous, you start stressing and worrying about things, cold sweats, you might have a loss of appetite, right? And if it goes too long and it gets too severe, then you end up having something known as like a panic attack, where you get a shortness of breath, you start to feel like claustrophobic, you may have some sweats.
Your blood pressure. I know for me, my blood pressure gets really high when I'm going through anxiety.
Yeah, and that's not good. Your pressure get elevated, and that can lead to to a potential, like a heart attack or even a stroke, right? So what we have to do is we have to find what works for us to manage that anxiety. Now, from my experiences, there's about two major causes for anxiety that most people don't think about. Number one is their diet. As human beings, there's certain things that we're not naturally designed to consume in large quantities, right? Two of those major things is red meat, beef, steak, things of that nature, and pork. Those heavier substances, those things that are high in fat content. It takes our body a long time to break those things down.
So that's how it correlates to anxiety.
Yeah, because what happens is once you're physically not operating as you're supposed to be, right? Because like I said, it's not natural for the body to take several days to digest something. Your body's supposed to break some stuff down within a couple of hours, but red meat takes about 36 hours, and pork takes about 20 to 28 hours to fully digest through the body. That's not natural. So once you're physically once you're physically not operating in your natural state, that leads to other physical symptoms, right? So you'll have a loss of appetite because you have indigestion, because your body it has no space to break down anything else because it's stuck breaking down what you already consumed, right?
So it's kind of like it's hard to manage your mental side, and as entrepreneurs, it's a lot on your mental.
Right.
But when your body's when you're physically at unease, so
it's hard to manage mental.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, that awareness of your environment. We pick up on different energies and different vibrations all the time. Whether it's, through the people who we interact with, through the things that we watch, which for a lot of us, we're not always watching the most positive media because it's not always the most entertaining media.
Right.
Right? You know, and we are picking up on all of these different wavelengths and all these different frequencies, and it affects us on a spiritual level. Because, like I said, we are spiritual beings, and I'm a firm believer that anything physical is a manifestation of something spiritual, and all things spiritual supersede the physical. So if your spirit's not right, if you picking up on, these negative energies and these negative vibrations, and especially if you're doing it intentionally, if you're watching a lot of drama-filled things, if you involve yourself in, negative behaviors, like socially, or even if you consume recreational things like too much alcohol, too many recreational substances, right? That's affecting you not only physically, but it's more so affecting your spirit. And once your spirit is not at peace, once your spirit is unease, then you just asking for physical problems, right?
So give me, all right. We always work on, in general in society, we work on our physical.
Right.
Everybody wants to look good. We work on our mental as well. Usually when something is going wrong, we get counseling, that type of thing.
Right. Third exercise that I found that actually works really well for your more emotional people, right? Everybody isn't as logical as others, right? So some people are truly just emotional people, right? So what I found works for those type of people is to this might sound a little weird, but to have like a cry session.
Yeah, cleanse yourself.
Right. To cleanse, to sit down, with people who you trust and you're comfortable with crying in front of, and to just let it out. It's such a great relief, right? Because they're letting out their emotions in a physical form, right? And they feel such a relief that they don't even have the time. They don't even remember what it was they were anxious about. They don't even remember what caused the anxiety, because it just everything poured out of them, and sometimes you have anxiety because you have too many pent up emotions. You've been passive aggressive for too long. Yeah. And that person who you should have cussed out 2 weeks ago, you just been holding on into it.
Now you mad at everybody.
Then you end up being mad at yourself, right? That's not what you want to do, right?
So get to that last
that last one, that last exercise, which is probably the hardest thing to do, right? That last exercise that I found to be effective, but definitely the most difficult, is to face it, right? And what I mean by face it is take you a piece of paper and in big bold print write the cause of your anxiety, right? Then you put the paper up in the mirror and you're going to have a dialogue with that paper. But you're really not talking to the paper, you're talking to the source of your anxiety. Right? And you're gonna talk it out. Be like, hey, say for example, you're right. You just lost your job, right? So you have like a work shirt or whatever, right? So you're gonna take that work shirt, put it up in the mirror, and you can be like, you're gonna be like, I gave my all to you. I was dedicated. I was on time. I was diligent. I did a good job. It was no reason for you to let me go, right? There was no justifiable reason for us to not continue this relationship, and I'm angry about it. I'm hurt about it. And you.
What does that do?
It's very similar to the whole crying thing. It's the verbal manifestation of those emotions, right? It's you being honest with the source of your anxiety.
So we made it to 509.
Yes, sir.
About to get some grub. You try some heavy gems with us. And man, we definitely appreciate you being here and giving your knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
Yes, sir.